Kaalia will have her revenge if she has to call on every force from above and below. And in this EDH Commander deck tech upgrade, we will take a look at MTG Burgeoning's Kaalia of the Vast Commander deck, and we'll make some upgrades to it as a way in which to ensure that when she achieves the goal of reaping her vengeance upon anyone she chooses, it will be done so in the most powerful way. Hello folks, welcome back. This is MTG Burgeoning here, and you can click on any of the links below to get a review on any of the Kaalia deck techs or upgrades that we've had so far on the channel. In this video today, we are going to take our current deck list that we have for Kaalia of the Vast, and we're going to make some tweaks as a way in which to upgrade its power level. For a quick review of what Kaalia does, she's 1 in Mardu colors for a 2/2 flying legendary human cleric. And whenever she attacks an opponent, we may put an angel, demon, or dragon card from our hand, dragon creature card, from our hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that opponent. Alright, so if you are already pretty familiar with Kaalia and how she works, you can check out the deck lists below, and they'll give you a good way to kind of brush up as to MTG Burgeoning's vision of Kaalia of the Vast. Alright, so let's talk some upgrades here. We have a half dozen changes that we're going to make to the pre-existing deck. Most of them are pretty minute changes on the surface, but if we look at the ability to try to have quicker interactions with our mana base, you'll notice that the focus is trying to get rid of many of the lands that come in the battlefield tapped in order for untapped or quicker versions of mana. So let's talk about the first card out. First card out is going to be the Nomad Outpost. It comes into play tapped, but we can tap it for a color of anything that we need for our deck, for red, for white, or black. Okay, so the Nomad Outpost is on the way out to be replaced by, now let's just think it through for a moment, to be replaced by the Skyshroud from Ikoria Lair of Behemoths. This land also comes into play tapped. It also gives us a red, a white, or a black. But what this offers us that Nomad Outpost does not is the ability to cycle. So if we were choosing to keep a land into play that enters tapped, and it is the exact same land but also gives us the ability to cycle, it seems reasonable to think that we could swap out the Nomad Outpost for the Skyshroud with the purposes of trying to cycle if needed later in the deck. If we're looking to try to watch out the number of lands that come into play tapped, it still comes into play tapped, but it gives us the benefit of being able to cycle, plus it gives us the benefit of an early fetch. If we're not casting anything in our early turns and we're just trying to fix the mana and we pull a fetch land early, we can put that into play right away, not have to worry about grabbing that at a critical time during the game. So, Nomad Outpost out, Skyshroud in. Alright, next up, Temple of Silence coming out. Again, the focus of trying to eliminate some of the lands that come into play tapped. This is a temple. We know about the temples. This is the Orzhov one. It comes into play tapped, but when it does, we scry one. Tap for a white or tap for a black. Okay, to take the place of the Temple of Silence, we're going to include a fabled passage. Now, yes, the basic land that we fetch for with the fabled passage will come into play tapped if we don't have more than 3 lands. That is a slight concern. I mean, if our goal is to reduce the number of lands that come into play tapped, this isn't an automatic. I'll roll those dice. I'll take that risk because I do believe that the odds are in our favor that we will be able to use the fabled passage to our benefit. We can get any basic that we need, as this one just gives us white or black. So we are reducing versatility for more immediate use, as we're trying to make the deck maybe a little bit quicker in the early game, or more streamlined for the mid to late game. So we're going to test it out, and we're going to see how it works by eliminating Temple of Silence and replacing it with Fabled Passage. All right, so you're probably noticing the trend of lands that come into play tapped getting their way out. Well, here's the next one, Temple of Malice. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, scry 1, tap for a black or tap for a red. That is going to be replaced with Field of Ruin. Now hear me out. This doesn't give us a color. However, this gives us some flexibility. There's going to be non-basic lands. Our opponents are going to have non-basic lands in play. That is a given. This is Commander. Everyone plays with non-basic lands. So what this does is this will allow us to destroy one of those lands, setting our opponent back a little bit. The opponent will be able to search their library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield, but then so will we. So this kind of fixes our mana a little bit. Additionally, however, what the Field of Ruin will also give us an opportunity for is to take advantage of the interaction with this. Ob Nixilis Unshackled for 4 and 2 black. This legendary demon has flying and trample on a 4/4 body. And whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life. So the interaction that Field of Ruin has with Ob Nixilis, because it's not a May for Field of Ruin, it is each player searches their library. So this can ping every one of our opponents for 10 life with the Field of Ruin activation. And what it came down to is this needed to be included, and I needed to take out a land in its place, and Temple of Malice fit that bill. And Ob Nixilis was already in the deck, so including Field of Ruin is only going to make his inclusion in the deck that much powerful, that much better, that much more powerful. So Temple out, Field of Ruin in. Okay, next card out. You guessed it, Temple of Triumph. The Boros Temple comes into play tapped. When it does, we scry 1. Pretty much the same as Temple of Malice and Temple of Silence. Trying to minimize the amount of lands that are coming into play tapped. Taking the place of Temple of Triumph, and I don't know if this was by me an oversight, or maybe there wasn't a copy available of it at the time. I really do not know or have a reasonable explanation as to why Sol Ring was not included in this deck. Again, I can't imagine that I purposely said to myself, no, we cannot include Sol Ring in this deck. I'm playing with the deck recently, and I'm noticing, well, where's my Sol Ring? And I'm going through the deck, and I'm like, oh, there isn't a Sol Ring in here. So I needed to put a Sol Ring in this deck, and in order to do so, the Temple of Triumph came out. So if we look, we've eliminated 4 lands. We added 3 lands and a Sol Ring. These 4 lands all came into play tapped. The Savai Trium is the only one that comes into play tapped. So in a way, in a sense, we're increasing our versatility by adding more available mana and reducing the number of tapped lands that come into play. Okay, so that's 4 changes. We got 2 left. And the next change, the next out is the Rakdos Signet. Okay, we know about the signets. They cost 2. We tap a colorless mana, tap this, and this adds black or red to our mana pool. So Rakdos Signet is out, and taking its place, Arcane Signet. And this was just a matter of time of, I actually even put it out. It was only a matter of time until the Signet was replaced with this Signet. So Arcane Signet in and the Rakdos Signet out. All right, last change. And that is going to be the Minion Reflector is coming out. This was an artifact that for 5 mana, whenever a non-token creature comes into play under our control, we may pay 2. And if we did, we put a token into play that's a copy of that creature. The token has haste, and at the end of turn, sacrifice this permanent, which I'm pretty sure through the errata was changed to read sacrifice at the beginning of the end step. So Minion Reflector is out. It just seemed clunky. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm biased against the Minion Reflector. Whenever it was in my hand, I was always hesitant to play it because of the initial investment of 5. So I needed to make sure there was a card that was going to be included that was going to really make a difference. And I think I found that card. Ruinous Ultimatum. From Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. For 2 red, 2 black, and 3 white. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. In a lot of ways, this is more powerful than a Cyclonic Rift outside of there being any forms of protection or indestructibility. All right, so that is the latest and most recent upgrade to Kaalia the Vast. What do you think? Are we making the deck better by excluding the tap lands and including those? Would you do it differently? What would you take out? What would you add? What can we do to give Kaalia the best chance to exact her revenge? What is an MTG Burgeoning Pack War? An MTG Burgeoning Pack War is a monthly YouTube series during which combatants are randomly assigned booster packs from the same Magic the Gathering set. It will never be Dragon's Maze. The combatant who opens the most valuable rare, mythic rare, or foil will receive every rare, mythic rare, and foil opened during that video. Example: if 12 combatants pack war, then one of these 12 individuals will receive every rare, mythic rare, and foil opened during the event, based on who opened the most valuable card. If 36 combatants pack war, then one individual will receive every rare, mythic rare, and foil opened during that video. How can I participate? Go to patreon.com below and join the Pack Wars tier for $5 per month. There are only 36 slots available. Each month beginning in July 2020, ex-contenders will prepare for war. X being the number of eligible patrons. Each patron who joins will be eligible for the following month's Pack War, and each following month thereafter if still a patron. As the number of patrons increases, so do the potential rewards. Prepare for battle. All card prices are as stated by TCG Player Mid at the time of opening. In the unlikely event of a tie, each deadlocked combatant will receive a bonus booster pack to help break the tie. The combatant who opens the most valuable rare, mythic rare, or foil from these bonus booster packs will break the tie and be awarded all rares, mythic rares, and foils opened during the video.